Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Joe and Joe Weather Show on this Sunday morning after a very busy Saturday and Saturday night in the land of severe weather. We had quite a bit of it and a few surprises along the way. The Joe and Joe Show brought to you by brought to you by Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini, your complete holiday lighting specialist, meeting all your decorating needs. Whether you're thinking about decorating your home for Christmas, or maybe you want to do this as a business so you can earn extra money, give them a call. They're at 162 Ocean Avenue in Lindenhurst. The phone number is 631-957-5106. That's Lindenhurst, New York on Long Island. And the website is liholidaylighting.com. And of course, you can get whatever hardware supplies you need to do your stuff for Wholesale Holiday Lighting by Giannini by going to Omni True Value Hardware right nearby at 1226 North Wellwood Avenue in West Babylon, New York. Also on Long Island, 631-756-1125. The phone number there. And the website is omnitruevalue.com. So yesterday, Joe, was another example. I've said this a number of times. When you deal with thunderstorms in the summertime, it's almost a waste of time to look at all the short range models because they all have different ideas and different solutions and different timing on how these thunderstorms are going to develop. You kind of knew it was going to be a rather rough, severe weather day. But what amazed me was that you had all those renegade cells that develop from the daytime heating in the early to mid-afternoon, which all the short-range models missed. All of them missed it. And they were focused on what was coming in last night with the upper trough and the cold front getting close. That part they did better with, but they completely missed all the big cells that developed yesterday during the afternoon and early evening hours, at least along the coastal plain.
Right. Well, what I said on my Facebook pages, Joe, was during the early afternoon. And again, I've said this over and over again, and I agree 100% with you, where people are looking at the models up until the very moment the event is supposed to happen. Within a few hours, you're supposed to stop doing that. Just take a look and see what's actually happening. And in early afternoon yesterday, I saw there was a big cluster of developing showers and storms in the vicinity of the New York metropolitan area, moving northeast. And I said, hey, folks, guess what? We're going to be in line for some active weather this afternoon. It was one of my short fused updates. And I said, and then we'll look at the system coming in for this evening. But if you were wondering whether or not you have to wait until this evening to see any lightning and thunder, forget it. It's coming now. And it did. And it was kind of disappointing to me, the fact that twice during the day yesterday, I had to endure with relatively short. I mean, the lights went off. They came back on again a couple of minutes later. But of course, I'm down here doing stuff on the computer. And I said, until this whole threat is past us, I might as well turn everything off because I don't want to see the computer, going on and off and on and off. That could hurt the machine. So I just shut everything down. And from mid-afternoon through into last night, it was, basically just doing nothing, just sitting in front of the TV, watching reruns of Pawn Stars, and then watching our local New York teams, the Yankees playing in a moderate rain. I still to this moment don't understand why the umpires at least didn't stop the game and put the tarp on the field. Maybe they were concerned that they wouldn't have to take the tarp off, or they didn't have an official game or whatever. But I mean, they were playing in a steady, moderate rain last night in the Bronx. And don't even talk to me about my Mets, which, they had a 6-0 lead and they blew it in the ninth when Diaz threw a grand slam home run to one of the players on the Pirates. I mean, the Pirates are one of the worst teams in baseball, and they're playing the Mets last night they beat the Mets like a piñata. So it was not a very good day for yours truly yesterday. Between
No, apparently not.
The lack of being able to use the computer, watching television, which I don't often do anymore. What are you going to say? What are you going to do?
Yeah. David Schwartz.
Happy weekend.
Yes, David Schwartz pointing out that JJ's barking. He's in the other room, and I think he's looking out the the screen porch door and see some squirrels in the bird feeders. I don't know if can you catch them on the. Actually, you can see him there. Okay, you see that black and white streak? That's him standing by the window. He is not happy when squirrels go into the bird feeders. And I use, by the way, I use safflower seed, which squirrels generally don't like. But I have a couple of desperate squirrels that seem to go in there. They eat it literally one seed at a time, so that at least minimizes the amount of seed loss for the other birds. But there he is. He's standing. That's him right there, right over there. That's JJ. Too funny. JJ. JJ. Hey, JJ. Come here. Come on. Come on. He walks in with a sulked, dejected look. There he is. But he's wagging his little stubby tail. Now he's gonna go do what he usually does during the show. He sleeps. He also, by the way, he didn't get to go to he didn't go to the PARK yet. And I've been going to a new PARK, which is a big DOG playground. And he loves it. And he gets to interact with other dogs off the leash and run around and just, go crazy. He's made a couple of friends. This morning at 9 o'clock, he was like, we got to go to the playground. And I'm saying, no, we got to do the Joe and Joe first. So he sat there and recalculated his nap time. So that's what he's doing now. He's laying down next to me. So anyway, much calmer today. I mean, there's no severe weather to worry about anywhere. And by the way, last night, Joe, there were a couple of tornadoes. I think there was at least one tornado warning that I know of in northern Ocean County. And I don't think it was from an actual sighting of a tornado, but I guess maybe the radar was showing some rotation, and that was that. And also Long Island, which kind of missed out on all the thunderstorms during the day yesterday, got hit with storms overnight last night. But things have definitely calmed down, and at least for today, just judging from what's on the satellite and what's on the radar, we'll pull up the satellite first. Really not expecting to see much other than some scattered showers, I think, that may pop up. And I think most of those are going to be, if you're in Pennsylvania and New Jersey, say north of Route 78, and then northward on into upstate New York. It's still raining in northern New England.
Yes, and all of that activity, again, as you mentioned, with a trough, an upper level trough, a weather front, a weak weather front, but enough to trigger all of that activity because the air was so juicy yesterday, Joe. Here in Putnam Valley, hit a high temperature of 92 at 2:22 in the afternoon, and then came the storms, and we dropped about a half an inch of the wet stuff here. I mean, at one point it was raining cats and dogs, but we really didn't see the amount of rain that other places around the tri-state area saw. There were some spots I saw in portions of western Jersey, or maybe it was eastern Pennsylvania, that logged like 5 inches of rain out of some of those storms yesterday.
Yeah,
it was incredible.
And in the meantime, we seem to be in lockstep a lot of the time with the weather going on in the Northeast. I mean, you're fighting leftover clouds today, so it's a little bit different for you. For me, I'm sitting in this mess that's across the Gulf states. You can see it there. And there's going to be, I had some showers overnight and downpours, and I had a couple of downpours this morning, and likely to see some more showers and thunderstorms across the lower Gulf states. And of course, in the Northeast, there's your energy from yesterday is now moving through northern New England and headed out, but we're still going to have a tough time. Joe, we're getting into this northwest flow in the upper atmosphere for the next 5 or 6 days, and we're going to be subject to weather systems that are going to be moving through relatively quickly. I think the good news with that is, other than Tuesday, where it may go to 90. Much of this week will be spent underneath that number, but the humidity is going to have a tough time coming down.
And you would think that with that northwesterly flow that we would have much lower humidity levels. I'm just now looking at the GFSX tabular information, the information that provides you with numerical figures for each day. And let me just take a look here at the extended GFS. I'm going to take a look at my zone, which would be around White Plains or Newburgh. And, you see you're expecting, big drop off in humidity or dew point temperatures. And here we see tomorrow, dew point 64, Tuesday 66, Wednesday 65, Thursday 62, Friday 60, Saturday 61, Sunday 60. I mean, this is a disappointment.
Yeah.
Remember, just a few days ago, we had that huge closed low being depicted over the northeast with that very tight north or northwesterly flow. And you would have said to yourself, oh, my goodness, we're going to see dew points well down in the 50s, maybe even the 40s. And here we see the GFS now just saying, well,
it's more of an open trough on all the
60.
models. Instead of having this sort of, full latitude type troughs like the ones we had in June, now it's just more of an open trough. And the problem for this week is the fact that each one of these systems in the northwest flow, technically you should be seeing lower humidities along the way, and you'll probably see them, way up north in upstate New York and up in northern New England. But the problem is they're coming with such frequency that the dry pushes, the quote unquote dry pushes in between are absolutely minimal. And as soon as the first air mass comes in, it's ready to go out. And then you get the next trough and the next cold front. I mean, the upside to that is that you need maybe 2 or 3 days to kind of get things up to where it gets very, very hot. But you don't have enough time to do that. So at least from the other side of the equation, it does tend to keep the temperatures in check. And by the way, if you look at the latest radar, starting to see a few scattered showers popping up in the Catskills. Looks like there might even be a little thunderstorm in there as of 11:15 Eastern time. But most of this stuff is light and widely scattered. But in northeastern New York, northern Vermont, northern New Hampshire, and most of the state of Maine, seeing some downpours and some heavy downpours along the Maine coast. That's moving out to the northeast. So if you're if you're watching from northern New England, you're not having a nice day. In the meantime, and by the way, Joe, this is interfering with the Blairsville Butternut Creek Festival, which is underway. I was there yesterday and picked up some couple of knickknacks, but you can see there's scattered showers there in North Georgia, northwestern South Carolina, into North Carolina, and also some heavier downpours back into western Tennessee, northern Mississippi, and across central Arkansas, southern Illinois, that whole area in there, and up into the middle Mississippi Valley, dealing with some showers. Nothing going on along the Great Lakes, a few patches of showers in the southwest and in Southern California. Looks like they might even be seeing a few rain showers around LA today, if the radar is any indication. You can see those showers there. They're actually moving from east to west, and nothing going on up in the Pacific Northwest as far as the radar goes.
Now, you said you picked up a few knickknacks yesterday?
Yeah, I did. It was really what I was very happy about. So I have these cabinets in my kitchen, and above the cabinets, they're it kind of goes in a 90-degree angle. So you've got cabinets going this way, and then cabinets at a 90-degree angle going this way. And there's about, I don't know, maybe 8 feet on one direction and about 8 to 10 feet on the other. So I have this huge top of the cabinets, and there's space from there to the ceiling. So you can put little knickknacks up there. So anyway, I found a booth yesterday where there was an 80. The guy had to be in his 80s, and he hand carves wood toys, mainly cars, trucks, little trains, and that kind of thing. he hand carved, and we're not talking small here, so we're talking maybe about over 2 feet long. You ever see those Mack trucks that carry the huge logs? That carry those huge logs from timber. When they take timber down and they're going to take the logs to the mill. Okay. Well, he made these wood Mack trucks, and they were absolutely beautiful. He also had a trolley that he made, plus other trains, and it was like $20. It was so inexpensive. I mean, I could see that booth up on Long Island or up by your way, and you'd be selling those toys for easily double that price, maybe even more.
Probably.
Yeah, but so I picked up a couple of things. My grandson picked up another garbage truck to bring his total now to 13. He has 13 different large garbage trucks. He's into garbage trucks, or as he calls them, Dicky Das. I'm not quite sure how he got to that, but that's what he used to call them. He's a little older now, but so he got his garbage truck. My other grandson got one of the Mack trucks with the logs in the back, and just a lot of cool stuff there. I actually am going to go back as long as the rains hold off. I'm going to take a ride back in just a little while. Okay.
I was gonna ask whether or not you bought all these knickknacks. Now, do you have a whatnot for your knickknack?
No, but I do have a whatchamacallit. It sits right next to the doohickey.
Huh.
You got to have a doohickey. You got to have a doohickey, right?
There is such a thing though as a whatnot.
Yeah.
There are. It's like a thing that has shelves on it that you could put your knickknacks on. So
yeah.
I do hope maybe you might want to pick up an extra whatnot for your knickknacks.
Well, I'll put it next to I'll make sure I have it very close by next to the doohickey.
Okay.
The WPC rainfalls, upstate New York, northern New England. Okay, these are week long, but you get further south, there's actually not we'll see how this plays out with whatever thunderstorm threats we get this week in the Northeast and northern Mid-Atlantic states. But WPC not really very bullish on rainfalls, which, as Frank Riccio pointed out on the chat board, New York City now very close to an all-time record rainfall for the month of July, and we're still only at the 18th. Meanwhile, you can see across the southern states in the southeast, we're going to be dealing with showers and thunderstorms from time to time, so a lot of this is convectively driven, and as a result, you're going to see wide variations. So some places are going to wind up with 4, 5, 6 inches of rain. Other places are going to wind up with less, but it's fairly widespread from Texas to Florida and on up to the North Carolina, Virginia state line, and to the Tennessee, Kentucky state line, and still seeing some hefty rain chances in parts of the Southwest. Although I saw Ruthless Goat post a comment yesterday on one of our YouTube, one of my videos yesterday, saying that where he is in eastern Colorado, it's very bone dry and very smoky. While it looks like much of the rain is going on the western part of the state and down into Utah and into Arizona.
Right. Frank Riccio points out 11.89 inches is the record for rainfall in New York City in July. And so far, I have not seen the latest rainfall totals, but we're probably pushing toward 10 inches. And again, we're only 18 days into July. So we may be looking at, or we may be within the throes of the rainiest July on record before it's all said and done, Joe.
Yep. So we have a little low being analyzed in the Catskills this morning at 8 a.m. and we're in the warm sector, but there really isn't much for this to work on. The upper trough has moved through, so the air is a bit more stable today. Actually, a lot more stable today. Temperatures having a tougher time because of the cloud cover. So not a whole lot of daytime heating, but you can see there's another frontal boundary with another high up. Just west of James Bay. And with the northwest flow, we're going to see upper troughs and cold fronts. There's, I think, 3 of them for this week. One Tuesday, one Wednesday, and one late Tuesday, one late Wednesday, and one late on Friday, which is the stronger one of the bunch. And as far as severe weather is concerned, SPC actually can, I don't know, they got a small area of marginal risk that's indicated today in western Nebraska and western down to western Kansas, northwestern Texas, but in the Northeast, covering New York State, northeastern Pennsylvania into southern and central New England. General thunderstorms being indicated there, but there's a narrow area there from just south, just right over from New York City on the north and west is the northern end, and you can see where the southern end runs down across northern Virginia. That area in between that extends back through Ohio and into the Great Lakes, no thunderstorms are forecast. And by the way, they don't have any severe weather forecast for the next 2 days, unless they pop in a marginal risk someplace along the way. But they certainly didn't do it in their overnight or morning forecasts.
Yeah, I'm just taking a look here myself at the convective outlook, and well, they have the New York City metropolitan area more or less in general thunderstorm coverage through day 2 and day 3 as well. And as per usual, from day 4 to day 8, either the predictability is too low or the well, it's basically just predictability, just too low for the day 4 to 8 time frame. Although I'm sure, I was thinking, Joe, that maybe later Wednesday or Wednesday night we might see something a little bit more than just general thunderstorm activity in and around the tri-state area.
Yeah, you know what? I kind of thought that Wednesday and Friday were the 2 days, if we're going to wind up with severe weather issues, I thought those were the 2 days that stood out to me. I really didn't make too much of Tuesday.
No, but yeah, Wednesday and again on Friday. Now today looks like we're going to be in a minimal area of thunderstorm activity, although it looks like for places like up toward, well, Tim Veltman's territory up in the Albany area, Pittsfield, a good part of northern and central Massachusetts and extreme southern Vermont and New Hampshire, that the odds are somewhat better for seeing some rumbles of thunder or seeing some thunderstorm activity, again, from about late afternoon into the beginning of this evening, and then that'll fade out. And pretty much after midnight tonight, after sunset, I think the threat of any shower or storm activity will pretty well be by the board for most everybody in the northeastern part of the country.
Yeah. So just looking at the long range, we're at this kind of funny part now. This is the warmest part of the summer, climatologically speaking, with the numbers. We're at our peaks now. And then once we get into the first week of August, we get through that, and you start to see the beginning of that long descent as far as the averages are concerned. But the atmosphere doesn't always cooperate in lockstep with the calendar. But we got a ridge in the west here, in the western part of the United States, and there's been some speculation of this ridge, whether it's going to come east or not. Well, at least during the next 10 days, if the European is correct, it won't. You've got a trough there. This is what's left of the trough that's hanging over us in the northeast and northern mid-Atlantic states now. That comes through late tomorrow. I kind of made it simple. I just went for the chance that there could be a shower or thunderstorm scattered around every day this week except for Thursday. And then just like last week. And here we go with Tuesday. You got what looks like a stronger upper trough that's to the north and west. That I don't know how much that's going to have to work on as far as showers and storms. We might have enough daytime heating to set a few off late on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, another little piece that moves on through Wednesday evening. You sort of see it right there. That continues on. And then here comes one for Friday. Actually, a nice tight little wrapped up low there, upper low there in southeastern Canada. But that, swings out. Now, here's the thing, Joe. The European does leave troughing behind through next weekend, and yet there's another trough that drops into the eastern part of the United States for the first half of next week. The ridge in the west pretty much stays there. So, I mean, if this is the case, I know there was some conversation about going into getting that heat ridge to come into the eastern United States. I know you and I mentioned that last week, but it really doesn't appear like it wants to do that.
Not with that fast flow and that northwesterly flow for the northeastern part of the country. Certainly, if that verifies, you really can't see that heat ridge making any headway into our part of the country. So in a way, that if you don't like heat or if you don't like extreme heat, that in a way I guess is good. The continuous, endless series of troughs may keep us in a rather cloudy and a rather wet spell of weather here for the next 2-3 weeks, but at least it will preclude us from going into the extremes of, let's say, mid and upper 90s, or extremes in terms of oppressive humidity in the days to come.
Right. Now, the GFS, I'm just looking at the last run. It does pull out that trough. It doesn't drop another one down like the European has. Rather, it pulls out the one before it, and it does start to spread the ridge east-west across the southern half of the United States and into the east during the last few days of July. But it lasts only for a couple of days, because even the GFS around day 10 or 11 starts to swing troughing into the eastern part of the United States during the last days of July and going into the month of August. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just don't see, I mean, I'm not seeing what I would, look for in terms of any kind of prolonged heat lasting more than 3 days, or lasting longer than 5 days, with a big upper high locking itself into the eastern part of the United States. I don't see that showing up here going into the month of, the end of July and going into the month of August.
No, you can't. You can't. Not with that type of flow, that fast, rapid flow, and not with the upper level winds coming from mostly a west and west northwest direction. I mean, I've known many a summer in the past, and I can remember back to in the 70s, for example, in the 80s, where you look on some of the long range maps and there's nothing. There's no sign whatsoever of any kind of northwesterly flow. It's just a flat nothing flow. So you just get one day after another, heat and humidity, heat and humidity, heat and humidity. At least with this type of flow, it's going to be maybe a bit cloudier and maybe a bit more showery than you would like. But at least with the flow from the northwest and the way the rapid movement, things will be changing quickly. You're not going to be stuck with the same type of weather pattern day in and day out and day in and day out.
Yeah, I'm just loading the GFS surface, just waiting for the start. I had it preset right in the middle, so it's got to move back and load these frames. So we're not changing the thermodynamics of the atmosphere here, or the physics, by rolling weather systems from east to west rather than from west to east. It's just me going backwards on the time. And I got the GFS up because that's the one we've got a good, a longer view where we could look at the surface. But here we have, again, you can kind of see with the way this is overlaying, the radar echoes are overlaid on here. I know the isobars are a little bit tough to see, but you certainly can see the northwest flow. Here's the system that's hung up, the front and the low that's hung up right on the coast today. With, again, maybe some scattered showers this afternoon. You see more activity across the southeastern part of the United States and the Gulf states for tomorrow, and again for Monday. The systems from the northwest flow, they come in quick, they go out quick, and here comes the next one. And we're at the end of the week, Friday, where we have maybe the strongest of the upper troughs coming through. So we'll see maybe if Friday winds up being a severe weather day. And then going into next weekend, I mean, it's because the trough, Joe, pulls out so quickly. The high in southeastern Canada, instead of building southward, it just kind of flies eastward into the Maritimes. So you quickly go into an onshore flow, and then we bring in, maybe more showers and another front on Monday into Tuesday of next week. And then if the GFS is correct, maybe for the 28th, 9th, and 30th, we'll get some heat. But yet another front pushes down on the last day of the month of July. So it's kind of quiet. There's not, from day to day, it's just typical mid to late July nonsense. And in the tropics, by the way, no tropical cyclone is forecast development over the next 5 days. I think we'll start to see activity pick up. Once we get into August, I'm pretty sure we're going to see this activity pick up relatively quickly. I do want to bring up, if I can, let's see if I can find Hurricane Felicia. in the Pacific. And I have it here on it's a very, very tight, compact storm, Joe. It's got that buzzsaw look, but it's a very small blade. A Felicia is, but very impressive on the satellite.
Yeah, there you go.
You can see it right
You
there.
can see it. Very, very distinct and well-defined eye. Yeah, that's about as compact as they come, Joe.
Yeah, there also
that.
looks to be another tropical system that's developing to the east of Felicia off the coast of Mexico again. And there you go. There's actually some rotation. Looks like there's a little bit of rotation going on there. The sunrise line has not quite reached Felicia, so we're still seeing the infrared shot, but you can see it with its perspective to Hawaii. It's still pretty far out there. And with regards to that, as always, I don't often read the Pacific forecast discussions, but if you look at their forecast, Joe, it goes from a major, looks like they're forecasting it to peak in intensity now. In fact, they're carrying 130 miles an hour on the wind, which is down from the 140 they had earlier. And they move it west and then west-southwest and weaken it to a post-tropical depression by the time we get to 2 a.m. Friday. And you ask yourself, okay, it's sitting between 10 north and 15 north in the tropical Pacific, and Hawaii's up at 20. Why do these systems always weaken? And, there's a force field around Hawaii, especially when it comes to systems coming in from the west. But you've got, believe it or not, once you get west of 135, some of the time, and this is one of those times, particularly because of the La Nina going on, there's cooler than normal water temperatures out in this part of the Pacific. And that's one thing working against it. And also there's an upper low that's sitting out there east of the Big Island that's producing, and the way the upper low is oriented with the upper high, there's actually northwesterly shear that's going on. So this thing is not going to, it's going to get pushed southwestward, and it's going to wind up slowly weakening as it does so.
It looks like the worst that the island, and it really looks like the Big Island is going to be subjected to, is going to be maybe some swells,
and that's
generated by the storm, and that's just about it. And I'm talking about right now, actually, because albeit it is compact, but it is a very potent system at 130 miles an hour, and believe me, those swells can be that can generate swells, upwards to 500 to even 1,000 miles away. And certainly in that regard, Hawaii, the Big Island especially, is in line for that. So that's about the worst I think they can probably expect to see from that storm before it just completely, if I may use the unmeteorological term, shrivel up, so to speak, as it passes over those cooler waters and interacts with that upper low.
Yep, you said it all. So do you have a Briller Jeopardy?
I don't think so.
And I don't either. Actually, I haven't heard from. I don't see any message. I haven't gotten any messages from Scott for a couple of days. I hope he's okay. Let me just.
I will be checking here just to make sure. But I don't think I've got anything here.
No.
That I don't think I've got. Well, listen to me, right? With that wonderful English that I just said. I don't got anything.
I don't got anything. I ain't got anything.
Yeah. I ain't got anything.
You ain't got anything.
Oh, come on, please. I hate this. I hate why they couldn't leave Facebook alone. I'm having trouble. I didn't even realize I had this. I have a Facebook business suite. How the heck did I get into this?
Oh, everybody who has a Facebook page, a professional Facebook page, has a Facebook business suite.
Well, Joe, here is the thing. I am stuck now in a continuous. I can't get into my page to see whether or not Scott sent me anything. If he did, let me just bounce.
Well, the chairman is actually typing a message right now. So on my Facebook page. So let's see. Because I usually hear from Scott. On most days, but not hearing from. I didn't realize I hadn't heard from him in the last 3 days. So it was just kind of a little bit unusual.
Yeah, I have not gotten anything. The last thing I have here was the top 10 all-movie Turner Classic Movies, and we already went through this.
Right, and the last thing I have was the TV shows that we did that included the Doris Day Show.
Yes. Que sera, sera.
The one thing about the Doris
Whatever.
Day show that just was uniform in every episode is she must have worn like seven, or she did more costume changes than anybody I ever known on a television show. All right, so everybody, Scott, just so you know,
She was the
his
call
mom.
her the call her the Stone Age, Vanna White.
Yes, yeah, I guess that you might say that. Um, uh, Scott just letting me know, by the way, that his mother Briller is okay. She had a bit of a setback last night, so we all our best to Mother Briller. You go take care of her, and she needs to take care of herself too. So rest up, okay, and you know, no worries. We don't have we didn't have we didn't have a Briller Jeopardy set up, so he'll do it sometime during the week when he's got some free time. All right, so I'm trying to think if there's anything else going on. This is a Sunday here. You know, it's been cloudy and gloomy all day today so far. So I got to take, you know, what he's asleep behind the chair, so he's got to go to the park right now. You have any other breaking news or any other things you want to share?
No, nothing.
No,
It's like a, what more can we say? I think we covered it all.
I think
And we'll
so
be back
too.
tomorrow night at this. I'll be back tomorrow night at the same time, same station.
Same bad time, same bad channel. That's correct.
Yes.
Okay, sounds like a plan to me. And all right, so we'll be back tomorrow night at 7:30. No library talks this week.
I do, but the one that I have on Tuesday is at 2:00 in the afternoon, so
Oh, okay.
it's going to be an early one. So.
All right, so we'll be back. We'll be here tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern time. Thanks everybody for being here as always, and enjoy the rest of your Sunday. And we'll see you tomorrow. Bye bye, everybody.
Bye.